Hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm Andrew Bedlam, she's RudeGurl Jess, and we're from the PoGo City Radio Podcast.
Today on PoGo City's Best Punk Albums, we are looking at Dead Boys, Young, Loud, and Snotty.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to take a quick second to remind you about last week's episode on Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, LAMF. Now, the Dead Boys and Johnny Thunders have always been tied to each other, and we think you'll find the two videos pair nicely together. If you guys want to see more videos like these, please remember to click subscribe and turn notifications on. Also, pogo on over and tap that like button. You can find the most recent episodes of the PoGo City Radio Podcast on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where we'll be talking more about the Dead Boys, Thunders, and you'll just be kept up to date with the latest happenings of the underground punk scene. And remember, if you head over to PogoCity.com, you can find over 600 episodes of PoGo City Radio, so check it out. Let's get back to the Dead Boys. The Dead Boys formed in 1975 from the leftovers of Cheetah Chrome and Johnny Blitz's former band, Rocket from the Tombs.
Being from Cleveland with virtually no music scene, Stiv Bators, Jimmy Zero, Jeff Magnum, Cheetah Chrome, and Johnny Blitz knew if they wanted any chance of success, they needed to be in New York City. So the band stole a friend's van and hightailed it to the Big Apple.
The Dead Boys became regulars to the CBGB stage, and that's where owner of the punk rock mecca, Hilly Crystal, first took a liking to the band. He then decided to manage the band, which would turn out to not be such a great business decision, but lead to some of the most monumental punk rock stories in history. Mostly due to the fact, with Hilly now funding the band, this allowed Cheetah and the rest of the Dead Boys to cause even more chaos than before.
It also led the group to producer Ganya Raven, an integral ingredient to the Young, Loud, and Snotty sound. According to Cheetah, her not being a part of their second album, We Have Come For Your Children, is one of the main reasons that record is subpar to Young, Loud, and Snotty.
In 1976, Sire Records started signing a lot of the CBGB's bands, and it was only a matter of time before they gave the Dead Boys a deal of their own. Once Sire Records signed the Dead Boys, the band and Genya Raven hit Electric Ladyland Studios to cut what would be the demo of Young, Loud, and Snotty. Thinking the recordings would never see the light of day, the band decided to do a live in the studio style recording where all the musicians would play together and Stiv Bators would overdub the vocals later. Once it was time to record the backing vocals, Jimmy Zero did most of the heavy lifting. Once in the playback room, the band liked what they heard, but one thing was apparent: the backing vocals were way too loud and out of tune. But it was just a demo recording. No need to fix it, right?
At this time, the band, especially Cheetah, were not in a good place. Jeff was not happy with New York City life and left the band hanging on numerous occasions, sometimes being on full tours with no bassist. Not to mention, the members' drug habits were interfering with the band, to the fact that Sire Records didn't want to commit additional money to the Dead Boys. Why commit money to a band that could self-destruct at any moment? Instead, the label said they would release the demo recording or there would be no album at all. And luckily for us, that's exactly what they did.
Now, the reason why I feel like Young, Loud, and Snotty deserves a video in our Best Punk Albums series is because not only are the Dead Boys one of my favorite bands, but I feel like the sound of the music really reflects the stage show and their lives. I mean, these were wild guys who wanted to party. And this is also some of the reasons why they had no commercial success. The lyrics were too dirty, the sound was too dirty. Whether it was songs about blowjobs like Caught with the Meat in Your Mouth, or frontman Stiv Bators trying to strangle himself with the microphone cable, as well as guitarist Cheetah Chrome regularly being skin popped with heroin on stage by roadies. But in the spirit of trying to keep this video about the band's work opposed to their drug habits, why don't we dive deeper into a few of the songs? A fan favorite from the Young, Loud, and Snotty album is definitely I Need Lunch. Now, according to Cheetah Chrome's book, A Tale from the Front Lines of Punk Rock, a Dead Boys story, this song was written about an X-rated model, sometimes actress, and just regular to the New York scene, Lydia Lunch. This would be one of the dirtier songs Stiv Bators ever wrote. Now, according to the book, Cheetah Chrome was not present, but he believes that the rest of the band got into a wild sexual encounter with Lydia Lunch. And if you look at the lyrics, that is exactly what it seems like. Let's take a look at the lyrics. I don't need your company. Girls like you, I come for free. I don't really want to dance. Girl, I just want to get in your pants. I don't want to hang around. I don't need you to jack me down. Well, I don't really want to dance. Girl, I just want to get in your pants. Now listen, girl, you try and try. We're more than just friends. You cry and cry. You know I'll prick you in the end. Look at me that way, bitch. Your face is gonna get a punch. I said I don't need no cook, girl. I need lunch. Now listen to me, babe. You go and find yourself a factory man. Girl, you were born with dishpan hands. Baby, I don't need romance. No, girl, I just want to get in your pants. I need lunch. Now, that seems very self-explanatory to me. But according to Cleveland.com, she's directly quoted in the article many times, but she's not directly quoted in the part where they talk about what the lyrics are. They are trying to say the lyrics are about her stealing lunches for Stiv back in the day. And I'm like, I don't think so. That doesn't really read that way. It kind of reads more in a derogatory, stereotypical women belong in the bedroom and in the kitchen stance.
Yeah.
But one thing is certain, the band and Lydia Lunch were always friends, and there's no hard feelings, but I do feel like some people are trying to rewrite history when they say this song is about food.
Like many punk tales, the Dead Boys would burn out bright and quick. The group would release a second album, We Have Come for Your Children, before disbanding. The album would generate less sales than the first release. This mixed with the band not being able to tour and promote the album due to the stabbing of drummer Johnny Blitz, which virtually ended the band.
On June 3 of 1990, Stiv Bators would be tragically killed in his new hometown of Paris, France, when he was struck by a car out front of his house. After finding out about Stiv's death, according to his book, Cheetah took a turn for the worst, going from a one-time rock star to a common New York City junkie. It was only once Duff and Slash from Guns N' Roses, who were long-term fans of Cheetah Chrome and the Dead Boys, asked to cover a song featured on the second album, Ain't It Fun? Once Guns N' Roses cut the recording, the album was released and the residual checks started to flow in for Cheetah Chrome, who in his first check made more than he did cumulatively throughout his entire career. It was only after that that Cheetah decided to rebuild his life, get his sobriety, and also decided to get married. After that, Cheetah took some of the money and reinvested it in his music, releasing some previously unreleased tracks and albums from his prior band, Rocket from the Tombs. Coincidentally, many of the Dead Boys songs were written for Rocket from the Tombs, including Ain't It Fun?
Then in early 2017, Cheetah and Blitz reformed the Dead Boys with 3 new members. It is with this lineup that Cheetah and the Boys made a proper recording of Young, Loud, and Snotty. It was released in September of 2017 under the name Still Snotty, Young, Loud, and Snotty at 40. The Dead Boys still currently do shows with this lineup.
Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys liked it, remember, press like, press share, and leave us a comment. Tell us what your favorite song on Young, Loud, and Snotty is. Tell us if you prefer Young, Loud, and Snotty or We Have Come for Your Children. Tell us if you think the song I Need Lunch is actually about food or if it's in fact about something a little bit dirtier. We really appreciate the support. See you guys next time.
PoGo City Radio.
Party's over.